What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Good Move, Not His Best YouTube channel. Happy opening day. It's your boy Jacob here. Gonna go over some players to watch and some teams to watch for the 2021 season. Normally, people like me, they go through predictions and standings, division standings, Cy Young, MVP. I'm not really into that. I'm just gonna go over a couple players that I'm really excited about, and a couple teams I'm really excited about, just to keep your eyes on and see what they do this year. The first player that I want to talk about is the left fielder for the Chicago Cubs, Jock Peterson. Peterson's coming off a World Series championship with the Dodgers last year in the shortened season. Didn't have the best year last year. Batted 190 with 7 home runs and 16 RBIs, 121 at bats. But honestly, I think you have to take last year as a wash. They started out in spring training in February, ended up going back home 2 weeks before spring training was supposed to start, and then came back out of nowhere in July and just had to go with it for the season. So a lot of players had rough years last year offensively. So I'm not too worried about those stats. His spring, though, he's been going off this spring. Well, spring's over now, but he went off this spring. He finished the spring batting .378 with 8 home runs and 19 RBIs. His 8 home runs is tied for the league lead with Corey Seager. His 19 RBIs are in the top 5 in the league, and his .378 batting average finished top 10 in the league in spring training. Now, I know what you're thinking. The ball flies out of Arizona pretty easily. Those numbers could be inflated a little bit. But just think, him going to Wrigley Field, playing every day with that wind, he gets the ball up in that jet stream, that ball is going to be going. And I have a feeling he's going to mash this year. He had 25 home runs in 2016, 26 in 2015. So he's proven he can hit home runs. Of course, we know he was in the home run derby the one year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. His best year was 2019. He batted .249 with 36 home runs and 74 RBIs. So we know if he's an everyday player, he's going to show some power. Not the best average, but I have a feeling he's going to improve on that. And he's a free agent after this year, just like a lot of the colleges we're going to talk about in a little bit. So you know he's going to be playing for something, going to want to prove himself. He got lost in the shuffle in LA a little bit with their loaded outfield. Didn't get to play as much as I think he could have on other teams. So this is a big year for Jock, and I'm expecting big things from him. The second player, being a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, not many bright spots for the team this year, except this one is very bright. Ke'Bryan Hayes. Hayes, in 24 career games, is batting .376 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs and 85 at-bats. Now, as I said, he's only played 24 games, but MLB.com came out on Monday saying that, as their bold prediction, he won't only receive NL Rookie of the Year votes, but he'll also receive MVP votes. And you know the Pirates aren't going to have the greatest season, so saying that, getting MVP votes on a team that's going to be way below average, that's saying something. And also, on the Chris Rose podcast, the Rose rotation, Stephen Broad, his teammate, was asked by Chris Rose if Ke'Bryan Hayes is the best all-around player he's been around that's young. Stephen Broad not only said he's the best young everyday player he's been around, he said he's the best player, period. And he's played with Kutch for a year, even though the year he played with Kutch was a down year. And he played with Josh Bell in 2019 when he was on that tear in the first half and he made his way to the All-Star game. Ke'Bryan Hayes' spring stats, he led the league in batting average with a .431 batting average, hit 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and he also tied for the league lead with 6 doubles with his 2 teammates Adam Frazier and Kevin Newman. He's also a solid defensive player. It was said that as soon as he came up in the league, he was going to be the best defensive third baseman in the majors, which is saying something with the third baseman we have in the majors right now. He won 3 straight Gold Gloves, minor league Gold Gloves in AAA, which is not only just a AAA award, it's all of the minor leagues. He's the first player since 1960 to win 3 straight Gold Gloves in the minors, so he's got the glove. The power was kind of a question with him coming up, but he showed that he was able to hit a few home runs in 85 at bats. He had 3 of them last year, and his speed is impeccable. He had a couple triples last year. I remember watching. I was just amazed the way he runs. Haven't seen somebody run like that around the base at PNC Park since Andrew McCutcheon when he was just coming up. So he's another player to watch. And my last player to watch is actually a pitcher for the New York Mets, and no, it's not Jacob deGrom. Marcus Stroman. Stroman's coming off a year that he was hurt. He opted out after a little bit. He got hurt. In 2019 with the Mets, he was 4-2 with a 3.77 ERA and 59 and 2/3 innings pitched with 60 strikeouts. He split the time in 2019 between Toronto and New York. He ended up having an ERA just above 3 in total in that year. His best year was in 2017, where he had a 13-9 record with a 3.09 ERA, 164 Ks, and over 200 innings pitched. So we know he's a big time pitcher, can strike the guys out, keep the balls in the ground. And the big thing that he faced in Toronto was it's a very hitter friendly park. The ball just flies out of Toronto. Think about Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion. They hit so many home runs in Toronto because that ball just flew. Now going to New York, a little better situation for him. And I just think if he keeps the ball on the ground and he strikes people out like he can, he's going to have a huge comeback year. So look out for Marcus Stroman. A couple of the teams I'm looking for, we're going to stay in one city for these. The first team is the Chicago Cubs. Now, they're not a trendy pick for teams to watch. However, this year is a make it or break it year for the Cubs. They have 3 of their main players that are free agents after this year, and 2 players they just picked up who are also free agents after this year. Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, and Javi Baez are all in their last year of their contract. And Anthony Rizzo recently turned down a 4-year, $60 million deal. Now, they're still negotiating, but thoughts are that they're not going to reach a deal before opening day. So it's going to go on. He's going to test free agency after the season. So, Rizzo's been the heartbeat of that team for years now. I can't imagine him playing anywhere but Chicago. But he's going to have a big year to prove himself and get the money he wants. Chris Bryant's a capable player, former MVP, third base, plays a little bit of the outfield. Javi Baez, a power-hitting shortstop, can do it all defensively. So those are the three main players that actually won them to the World Series in 2016. So they're going into big years. Also, the other players that are going in their final year, I talked about Jock Peterson, what I expect from him. And then the pitcher is Zach Davies, who they got in the deal for Yu Darvish from the Padres. So this team can look a lot different after the trade deadline if they don't compete and aren't in the mix. But honestly, I feel like in a weekend out Central that the Cubs are going to overachieve. And I actually feel like they're going to finish just behind the Cardinals in the division with Milwaukee finishing third. I'm not big into predictions, but I just feel like the Cubs can overcome Milwaukee. I know a lot of people are high on Milwaukee this year, but I just feel like the Cubs can overtake them. Other players to watch: Ian Happ, my fantasy baseball stud. He has had a good spring. He's going to be the everyday outfielder, center fielder, or everyday outfielder for the Cubs. He had 24 home runs in 2017, so we know he can show some power. He's been up and down from the minors and the majors 2 years after that. Had a rough 2020, but like I said, who didn't? Also, another player to watch is Nico Hoerner. Now, Hoerner and David Bodie were both battling for the second base position, and David Bodie actually won the second base opening day spot. So Hoerner's going to start out in the alternate site, so he's not going to be in the opening day roster. But with the spring that he had, he batted .364, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, 3 doubles, and 2 triples. Don't be surprised if he comes up and makes a huge splash, a big impact on this team very soon. The other team that I'm looking forward to watching is the Chicago White Sox. Now, as I said about the Cubs, they're older, they're all going into free agency. It couldn't be more opposite for the White Sox. The White Sox have 7 players at the age of 28 or younger, with shortstop Tim Anderson being the oldest at 28. They have Nick Madrigal at 24, Jan Makata at 26 in May, Eloy Jimenez at 24, Lucas Giolito at 27, Dylan Cease at 25, and Andrew Vaughn, who's just recently was stated that he made the opening day roster, and he is going to be 23 on April 3rd. He'll be the DH and play some first base when Jose Abreu is a DH. Now, they would have another with Luis Robert, but he recently tore his pectoral muscle while trying to rob a home run last week in spring training. He's going to be out 4 to 5 months, but he'll be back in September or August or September, so he's going to have another big impact. Their lineup is stacked. As I said, Moncada, Anderson, Jimenez, and then their pitching staff. Lucas Giolito, who MLB experts had projected to have the second most votes in the AL Cy Young voting, right behind Garrett Cole. And then Dylan Cease, who's 25, he had 11 strikeouts in 5 1/3 inning in his final spring tune-up game on Tuesday. So the pitching staff and the lineup is lethal for the White Sox. The one thing that I don't like about the White Sox was their manager hire they made earlier this year. Tony La Russa has been out of the league for over 10 years. Last time he managed was with the Cardinals. He's a very old school manager, and the White Sox are not old school at all. They are very flamboyant. They love to show their emotion. Tim Anderson with the bat throws. They're exciting to watch. They're young and they're exciting to watch. Why would you bring an old school manager in to manage that? However, Tim Anderson came out and said that he sees as La Russa as a good manager and feels like he's the right guy for the job. So apparently they're on board. I'm just interested to see how the players' personalities and La Russa's personalities mesh. I mean, they've been all right in the spring, but just wait till the emotions hype up in the middle of the season when they're in an important game and see how La Russa handles that. Some other players to watch, I like Clint Frazier's going to be the everyday outfielder for the Yankees. I feel like he is a player to watch. All the players in the Phillies bullpen also, they had the worst bullpen in the history of the majors last year. So look for them to bounce back. The Padres have a lot to prove this year as a team to watch. Everybody's saying how the Padres are a team to watch. I kind of wanted to go off the beaten path a little bit. I mean, you can have the Padres. You can have all of the NL East. You can have the Twins with seeing if they can have playoff success after all the regular season success they've had the past couple of years. The Braves are young and exciting to watch. I mean, as far as the division to watch, I'd say the NL East is going to be the best division in baseball between the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Braves, and the Marlins, who are projected to finish last in the division, and they made the playoffs last year. So there's going to be a lot of exciting storylines this season in the MLB. I can't wait for it to start. Hopefully soon we're going to have some interviews on this channel. Hopefully get some Pirates previews and Pirate preview and go from there. I'm still in the middle of contacting people, but look for that. We're going to have some weekly and daily content on my Twitter page at GMNHB_baseball on Twitter. So if you're interested in keeping up with stuff that's going on in the majors, follow that Twitter page. And let me know what you guys want to hear. I'm open to suggestions. Just hop on my Twitter page and leave in the comments what kind of stuff you guys want to hear about, and I'll go from there. So yeah, if you can subscribe to this channel, that'd be great. And we'll be back this weekend with some more baseball content, and we'll see you then. Happy opening day and enjoy the season.